Well, hello there, time travelers, and welcome to the new time travelers. If you're new to this channel, please don't forget to hit that like, comment, and subscribe. Now come along as we head back to 1778 when British explorer James Cook landed in Walma on Kiowa Island, becoming the first European to visit Hawaii. In 1801, U.S. President John Adams nominated John Marshall to be Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States. 1892 brought us the first official basketball game played in Springfield, Massachusetts by YMCA students of games inventor James A. Naismith. 1930. In 1930, American astronaut Buzz Aldrin was born in Mount Clair, New Jersey. 1937 brought us Franklin D. Roosevelt taking the oath as President of the United States for the second time, and the first American inaugural to occur on any date save March 4th. He reinstates his faith in the adequacy of the Constitution without amendment, and to accomplish his program, he dedicates his second administration to securing a sufficiency for those who have too little. Just 8 years later, in 1945, U.S. President Franklin D. Roosevelt was inaugurated for an unprecedented fourth term in office. 1961 brought us U.S. President John F. Kennedy, in his inaugural address, said, "And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country." And still today, that line from his inaugural address is actually famous. That and the Gettysburg Address, because not very many people remember what the presidents say in their inaugural address, unless it's done by like a favored president. The following year, in 1962, Robinson Jeffers, one of the most controversial American poets of the 20th century, passed away. President Johnson, in his first economic report to Congress, forecast a rapidly expanding economy during 1964, but warned industry and labor to forego inflationary increases in prices and wages. 7 years later, in 1971, a nationwide strike in Great Britain's postal system began. A decade later, in 1981, the Iran hostage crisis ended when Ayatollah Raloa Kalamana released 52 Americans who had been held hostage for 15 months. And 15 months is 1 year and 3 months, okay? For those who weren't quite sure. Though a lot of people will, instead of saying 1 year, 3 months, will say 15 months. Or for 2 years, 24 months. They'll make it sound like it's a lot shorter amount of time than it actually is. In 1985, Caprio, the Greek president of Cyprus, and Raf Denktash, leader of the Turkish Cypriots, ended several days of discussion at UN headquarters in New York City without agreeing on a plan to reunite the country. When UN Secretary General Javier Pérez de Cuellar brought the two together for the first time in 5 years, hopes were high because separate preliminary decisions appeared to have established common ground for settlement of a basic differences. Crypto, however, was dissatisfied when certain proposals and agreed only to resume talks sometime in the future. Now, I don't know if that actually happened. Moving on to 1993, when Belgium-born actress Audrey Hepburn who created unforgettable film roles as the epitome of sophistication and glamour while periodically bewitching audience and critics with her springly mannerism and elf charm, died in Switzerland. Now, in the 21st century, in 2021, amid a corruption scandal that sparked mass protest, Philippine President Joseph Estrada, who was ousted from office in 2007, he was convicted of plundering, but was later pardoned. 2001 also brought us George W. Bush of the Republican Party and inaugurated the 43rd President of the United States. His vice president was Richard B. Cheney. On this day in 2009, Barack Obama was sworn in as the 44th President of the United States, becoming the first African American to hold the office. 2009 also brought us a group of lawyers in China reporting that on January 16th, they filed a class action lawsuit with the Supreme People's Court against 22 dairy companies on behalf of the families of 213 children who died or became ill after drinking melamine tainted milk in 2008. And with that, we return to 2024 and our current history. If you're new, please don't forget to hit the like button, comment, and subscribe. Until next time.